Thanks, President, and welcome once again, Commissioner Vestager, to our committee. Can I raise an issue that is of huge concern to my constituents as a directly elected MEP? It's the whole question of the Irish banks' handling of the tracker mortgage scandal, which may have been brought to your attention. Tracker mortgages are mortgages set to a set rate in the ECB. Many Irish citizens, mortgage holders, lost their mortgages, were put on wrong rates, incurred increases in rates. And while the issue is being looked at by the Irish Central Bank at a supervisory level, I'm interested more on the competition side. Was there cartel activity by the Irish banks? Is this an example of anti-competitive practice, antitrust practice? Was there distortion of the Irish market? Did it resist, did it ensure that other players couldn't come onto the field in Ireland, as it were? Now, I wrote on the 25th of October to your DG and I set out my complaint. I cited two examples of the Australian banks, the Lombardy case in January 2002 and in 2016, other examples of where your DG took action, in that case the euro interest rate derivative. And I thank the reply that I received just this week, which has spoken about the serious allegations that are made and the way in which you and your DG are looking and monitoring, continuing to monitor this particular development. But you say in the reply that the behaviour is predominantly linked to Ireland, so therefore it's probably more appropriate that the Irish National Competition Authority would be better placed to do this investigation. And I'm asking the question, is that the appropriate vehicle in a circumstance where these banks are SSM banks, they're within banking union? In some cases, your own DG would have had to sign off for the purposes of recapitalisation purposes. So I'm asking you, what are you looking for? Is it new evidence? Is it whistleblowers, for instance? Evidence from those who lost out here to bring them to your DG, because this is a hugely important scandal where we have to get to the truth, and I think the best way forward is to look at the competition angle, which you are very well schooled and have the powers to initiate. Thank you.
As you said, these are matters that we take very seriously because this affects individual families, their mortgages, how they can spend their income, if they spend them on the cost of having a mortgage or they can spend it on something else. And very often the cost of a mortgage is an important and a heavy part of a family budget. So again, here we are at the core of citizens' everyday life. One of the important things in the work that we do is to make the best placed authority do the investigation. And this is why it is not at all a question about not wanting to do it. On the other side, on the contrary, it's a question of finding who can do this best and who can do it most efficiently in a speedily way. And the thing is that what we're looking at is the affected market. Not necessarily if some of the parties are European parties or international parties, but the affected market. Because when you look at mortgages, the markets are quite different in Europe. There are different traditions, there are different legislation that sort of defines how the mortgage market work. And this is why, as a first response, it is very important also to work with the Irish competition authorities, who are in place on the market and having a direct access to the information needed here. Of course, it's always important if there are someone sitting somewhere who says that, well, I don't find it was right what happened. I would like to blow the whistle. That one is able to do that. I don't know if the Irish authorities have this tool. Otherwise, everyone is welcome to use the Commission tool. We have a whistleblowing tool where you are allowed or enabled to communicate anonymously with the Commission DG Comp. And this allows people to say, well, this is what we see, this is the evidence I bring to the table, and that can then spur investigation either with us or with the national authorities if it's a national market who are affected. We will keep monitoring these markets because the financial market after the financial crisis is of course of huge importance for us. You have passed legislation to change the financial sector, to make it more prudent, more proper, maybe more boring to work in. And that should, of course, be the case. And this is why we continue not only to have cases, but also to monitor developments. So, of course, I would invite anyone who has evidence when it comes to also the competition side of this thing to come forward one way or another. And since our pride is confidentiality, we can keep a secret. Of course, they can do that safely with us, and then we'll see who will be the best place to solve or investigate such a case efficiently.